Hey guys, what's up? It's Scrag. I'm doing a quick little walk around of my new Giant Defy Advanced 2 in the, I think it's called Flare Red or Flame Red. It is new for 2017. There are some changes for the 2017 model that make it slightly, in my opinion, slightly better than the previous models that came before. The Giant Defy range kind of went through this major overhaul. They got rid of all the aluminum versions. Now Defys are just carbon. They replaced all the aluminums with a whole nother product called the Contend. So if you're looking for an aluminum endurance bike from Giant, look at the Contend series. They've got it listed on their website under the All-Rounders bikes. Giant Defy fulfills their endurance line. This bike, why did I go with the 2017 over the 2016 or any of the other models? Specifically for 2017, the Giant Defy got hydraulic disc brakes in every tier. So from the base level tier all the way up to the top tier, it's got hydraulic brakes, as well as the through axles. So new for 2017 is through axles on both front and rear. It's a 12 mil through axle, and I like the idea of, if I'm going to run disc brakes, I want to have the stiffness and the alignment that a through axle provides more than a regular quick release skewer provides. Because sometimes I know with quick release, especially like on my old mountain bike there, when you put the wheel back in, the pad sometimes will rub against your disc brake because you don't get it quite aligned just right. Where with the through axles, there's no alignment issue. You just put the thing in there, through axle holds it exactly where it needs to be, so it returns to zero essentially. There may be a little bit of play, but not enough that it's ever rubbing, at least from everything that I've ever read about. Now, this bike, what is it equipped with? So this being the Giant Defy Advanced 2, it comes with the Shimano 105 gearing. It's a 50-34 up front and 11-32 in the rear with a long cage derailleur. Comes with the RS 505 hydraulic shifters and levers and brakes. Hydraulic 12 mil, or sorry, not 12 mil, it's flat mount hydraulic. I forget what the size diameter. I think it's 120 millimeter disc brakes. May want to double check on that. Overall first impressions of the bike. So normally, let me take you over here real fast. Normally I ride, or have been riding, this old school kitted out mountain bike. It's a 1996 Giant Iguana 650. And this is a bike that has taken me thousands of miles on many adventures, and I love it to death. As I started riding more, I started getting into mountain biking, and I went with a Giant Talon. It's a 2012 Giant Talon. And for off-road use, that bike is awesome. It's a solid rear end. I've got an upgraded X-Fusion shock up front, but that's enough about this bike. We're here for this bike, right? I got this bike because I wanted to start doing more road cycling, and I wanted to start going farther. On my Giant Iguana, I had done up to a 75-mile ride, but it just absolutely killed me. And I had a really tough time in my own mind rationalizing how a bike like this is any better than a bike like that, because in my own mind I didn't really understand that geometry really does play a difference in the way the bike feels and the way the bike handles. And I honestly had no idea how much more responsive a bike like this can be than a bike like that, because you know, if you're someone like me who's not been into cycling and ridden all the different types of bikes, you just see two wheels and some pedals and you assume that it's gonna perform the same. But let me be the first person to tell you that this bike absolutely destroys that bike as far as feel, comfort, the handling, everything. You know, and now I'm comparing it. It's not really to be fair, because that bike is, you know, 20 years old. It's a 20-year-old technology. It's a 20-year-old mountain bike that I was using for road cycling. So I was doing everything on that bike that it wasn't designed to do. versus what I'm doing on this bike that it is designed to do. This bike just is fast, quiet. The power, you can feel the power. When you push hard on that bike feels like it's flexing, like it's creaking, it's crawling. You know, it's a 20-year-old bike. On this bike, it's whisper quiet. When your leg is driving down, it doesn't feel like the bike is bending under you. You know, you can feel that power just being transferred into the back wheel. The get up and go on this bike is just out of this world in comparison to that. Now, I'm not comparing this bike to any other, you know, road bike out there on the market, because I'm not a guy who's ever really ridden a bunch of other bikes. I'm just a guy who rode an old school mountain bike and loved it and wanted something fast and furious, and that's what this bike is for me. And I can tell you, I wholeheartedly am 100% in love with this bike. This bike blows me away. Every time I get on it, I don't want to stop riding it. You know, I ride this to work now as my daily commuter, as long as the weather's nice. And I don't want to stop. You know, I get to work and I'm almost like sad that I have to stop riding. And as soon as the day ends, I get on this bike and I just want to take like the longest route home that I can so that I can stay on it. It's that much of a pleasure to ride. The tires and rims that come on this, you know, I'm not going to be an expert on it. I thought that because these tires have absolutely no tread on them, they're like racing slicks, I thought that was going to be an issue. But as I did some research, I came to find out that the tires with, like, you know, cuts and grooves and things like that, those cuts and grooves don't do anything. It's just for look. It gives you the impression that they do something. It's all about the compound, the material that the tire's made out of. And these tires are sticky. I've been around some pretty tight bends and corners, and never once did I feel like these tires were going to slide out from underneath me. I wasn't riding on, you know, wet pavement or anything like that. I was riding in good dry conditions. But these tires are sticky and they grip. The brakes, hydraulic brakes by and large are just, you know, a mile ahead of any other brake system out there. The caliper brakes, or the standard, you know, what I have on my old mountain bike there is just some old cantilever brakes. You know, those things I'd be holding on for dear life, trying to slow that bike down, trying to get down a hill, you know. Being that my mountain bike has hydraulic brakes on it, I knew how much better hydraulic brakes were. Apply that technology now to a road cycle, and I might have to throw in a little video here, a little snippet. I was coming down actually one of these mountain passes right over here, and I was riding with two other guys. One of the guys was riding a bike that has disc brakes, but it's the cable mechanical disc brakes, and the guy behind him was riding just, you know, some Dura Ace cantilever brakes. And with my bike, I was using two fingers to keep control of the speed coming down, and just absolutely not feeling any kind of, you know, danger at all, or like I was having an issue slowing down. The guy right behind me was also riding with disc brakes, and he was pulling and holding hard and having to put a lot of force into slowing himself down coming down this hill. And there's even a moment that he says, you know, I almost didn't stop. That's what disc brakes being mechanical. The guy behind that, he was so much farther behind us because he was having to really work to stay in control of his bike, because the cantilever brakes just didn't offer the same braking performance. And I mean, we're talking about a steep hill. It's like a 10 or 15% grade coming down. You're doing 30 plus miles an hour the whole way when you're riding the brakes, right? So these brakes just offer you so much more control with such little effort. And that's huge. You know, it just makes you feel like you're in control, which is a confidence boost. And when you ride confident, you ride strong. I love it. So this is not a long-term review. I've only had this bike we're going on 3 weeks now. And like I said, this bike just blows me away. Every time I get on it, I don't want to get off of it. Outside of that, guys, if you have any questions, I will answer them. Leave your questions in the comments down below, and I will get back to you in a timely fashion. If there's anything you want to know about this bike or you want to see up close, let me know. I'll do a video. I'll shoot it. You know, I got nothing but time on my hands, right? I've got a couple of other pieces of kit on here that I'm going to be doing some reviews on. I've got a Garmin 520 up front for my head unit. I've got a light on here. It's kind of a cheap eBay light, but it actually does a pretty decent job. On the back, I've got a Surface It's not a Thunderbolt. I forget what model that is. I'm actually not very in love with that light, but I use it. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. This is the initial review. I'll do reviews as time goes on, you know, a couple months here, a couple months there, mid-range and long-term review. But for now, this bike for $1,950 is an absolute steal. This thing, all carbon, through axles, hydraulic brakes, Shimano 105 Grupo. It's just freaking awesome. Anyway, guys, take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye.